Oh, got it.
Annie?
Good evening and welcome to this evening's Love Not Fear episode with the amazing Jack Cox, author of
Love Not Fear.
Yay!
And Annie has written two wonderful books
Called Orgasmic Health and Your Guide to Feeling Fabulous Fast.
Right, before we get started tonight, and this is really Annie's night. She's got a subject she's researched. I'm going to let her take it away in a minute. But I've just got a couple of announcements. I've had a question answered live by David Icke on his Connector show.
Wow.
And I shall put a link to it below in the description.
Wonderful.
It's available on two separate channels, and I shall put the link to both of them below in case one of you can't get one or you can't get the other. The second thing I want to announce is that this idea that David Icke has had, that you can make a short video and send it in to him where you ask questions, and then he does a special show where he answers those questions. Well, I thought I might have a go at that.
Do it. Sounds very exciting.
So anybody who wants to make a short video in landscape format, not view, so put your camera, put your phone that way if you're using your phone, and I will do that.
Sounds like a great idea. Very innovative, Jack.
Now, I haven't spoken to Annie about this before, so I'm going to dump her right in the SH1T now.
That isn't how it feels, to be quite frank. It just feels like a really good idea. If
the questions that come in relate to your sort of subjects, Annie, health and stuff, are you interested in doing the same thing, in answering them?
Yeah, absolutely, darling. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Right.
Anything that's going to inspire and empower people. Yeah, I want to do that.
So anybody, and I'm putting this out for all the people that are watching later on YouTube, anybody that wants to send in a video to jackcoxauthor@gmail.com, and I shall put that in the link below as well. And I will, or Annie will, answer your questions as best we may.
That sounds like a wonderful idea, Jack. That doesn't sound like a shit idea at all. That sounds like a great idea.
And for tonight, anyone who's on and hasn't been on before, basically Liberty and Gillian, you're welcome to dive in at any time and ask questions. Okay, you don't have to wait till the end for questions.
Perfect.
That's if you can get a word in edgeways.
Jack Cox, you know me far too well.
Oh, fractals and sacred geometry. Take it away, Annie.
Indeed, I'm very excited about sharing my knowledge and experience of this, because fractal geometry and sacred geometry is a really big part of who I am and what I am.
Interesting, because I was just briefly talking to Jack beforehand. I've done all of the template ceremonies, sacred geometry with Juliet and Jiva Carter.
That's where I did mine in Glastonbury.
We've
probably seen each other if I knew what you looked like.
We were always sitting right in the front, in the very front row, you know, because there was people from all around the world there, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just amazing, wasn't it? It's really, in 2006, when I did the first one with Nick and Rianne, and then I went to Glastonbury for, I think it was maybe a May bank holiday or August bank holiday, but it was literally 4 days, wasn't it? Of just the most beautiful geometry.
I've got goosebumps. Were Juliet and Jiva there? Because I did my first ones. I went to London. I did them with Cameron. What's her first name? Is it Jeanette or something like that? I'll sort it out. and I went to her house, and there was quite a few people there. So you do like 1 to 6, I think, with them, with a like an admin person. Then Julie and Jiva take over.
Yeah.
But as I've been to Jack, because of the COVID thingy, couldn't get over from Byron Bay. But I used to regularly Skype with Juliet.
Oh wow!
And her book I read before I got into any of this was World Bridger.
Oh, me too.
I know.
It just
amazing.
blew my mind.
I know.
I read it and then I read it again, and I just really took it in the second time, because her language is beautifully eloquent, isn't it? But some of the stuff I was like, I need to go back and just kind of have a look what that word actually means. But yeah, amazing channeled energy, isn't it? Most exquisite sacred geometry. So so as all the radio shows that we've done so far, I want them to be as interactive as possible, and there's always an element of show and tell, so I've got loads of lovely stuff to show you. So separate from Euclidean geometry, fractal geometry addresses the more non-uniform shapes found in nature, such as mountains, clouds and trees. Fractals provide a systematic method to capture the beauty of some objects. Why are fractals important? Fractals help us study and understand important scientific concepts, such as the way bacteria grow, patterns in freezing water, snowflakes. So one of the books I'd recommend that you get is this Dr. Masaru Emoto. So what he did was he froze sacred water, and then he defrosted them, and it makes the most beautiful, amazing snowflakes like that.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely wonderful. And he did experiments where he talked to water and told it was loved and it was beautiful. And the snowflake that formed was extraordinarily beautiful. Then he got another glass of water and he told it was horrid and he didn't like it. And the snowflake that created was quite deformed, really. So yeah, look for hidden messages in water. That would be lovely.
The ice crystals look quite different depending on the energies that were put into them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just beautiful.
You put energies into the water and then froze the water and then photograph the ice crystals. And if we are 70 to 80% water,
absolutely.
If energies, if love or hate can do that to water, what can it do to us?
What's it doing to us when we're 80% water? Exactly, Jack. That's absolutely spot on. So some of the things that fractals are important for: snowflakes, just talked about, brainwaves, for example. Their formulas have made possible many scientific breakthroughs. A fractal is a detailed pattern that looks similar at any scale and repeats itself over time. A fractal's pattern gets more complex as you observe it at larger scales. An example of a fractal shows simple shapes multiplying over time, yet maintaining that same pattern. Examples of fractals in nature are snowflakes, tree branches, lighting, and ferns. Have you ever thought about how nature likes to arrange itself in patterns in order to act efficiently? Nothing in nature, as we know, Jack, happens without a reason. All of these patterns have an important reason to exist, and they also happen to be beautiful to watch. There are some amazing YouTube videos that have fractal geometry in that are just the most exquisite things. A spiral is a curved pattern that focuses on a center point and a series of circular shapes that revolve around it. Examples of spirals are pine cones.
Grand.
Gorgeous, isn't it? Pineapples, hurricanes. The reason for why plants use a spiral form like a leaf is because they are constantly trying to grow but stay secure. A spiral shape causes plants to condense themselves and not take up as much space, causing it to be stronger and more durable against the elements. A Verona pattern produces clues to nature's tendency to favour efficiency, the nearest neighbour, shortest path and tightest fit. The cell in a Verona pattern has a seed point. Everything inside a cell is closer to it than any other seed. The lines between cells are always halfway between neighbouring seeds. Other examples of Verona patterns are, for instance, the skin of a giraffe, corn on the cob, honeycombs, foam bubbles, the cells in a leaf and a head of garlic. So trees, fractals are seen in the branches of trees from the way a tree grows its limbs. Fractals in animal bodies, we've talked about giraffes. Fractal snowflakes, fractal electricity and lightning. Fractals in plants and leaves. So for instance, the giant ferns have beautiful fractals that are just so exquisitely beautiful. Fractals in geography, rivers and terrain, fractals in clouds and fractals in crystals. Not only are fractals in the world all around us, they are even inside us. In fact, many of our internal organs and structures display fractal properties. Imagine the human lungs. You may have seen pictures of the human lungs showing blood vessels on one side and then our lungs on the other, and it's an exact fractal of that. Our brains are full of fractals. In fact, they couldn't function if not for fractal geometry. The human brain comprises approximately 100 billion neurons. Aren't we beautifully, magnificently put together?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. We are fractals, our lungs, our circulatory system, our brains are like trees. They are fractal structures. Fractal geometry allows bonded curves of infinite length and closed surfaces with infinite area. This is exactly how our lungs manage to maximize their surface area. The kidneys, the livers and pancreas are all organs constructed along that self-similar fractal rules. So too is the most remarkable of all those we know on earth, the human brain. And this is my belief system and lots of other belief systems as well. I believe that we are all fractals of the divine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We are all fractals of the divine, and we just need to remember that. In our darkest moments, we don't feel that. So we just need to get back to that beautiful, exquisite fractal geometry and to remember that we are all fractals of the divine. Yippee! And then sacred geometry. What does sacred geometry mean? So sacred geometry is the graphical display which lets you express and share between different cultures, traditions, and ways to communicate the same aesthetic, metaphysical, mathematical, and beauty values that each of us interprets and lives in our own beautiful way. Sacred geometry ascribes symbolic and sacred meanings to certain geometric shapes. And sacred geometry is essentially the study of the spiritual meaning of various shapes. It can be applied to the forms, numbers, and patterns seen throughout the natural world. The spiral of a snail shell. This is actually a seashell. Beautiful, isn't it? And then it's one of my very favorites that the ocean gifted me, or the mermaids gifted me. And it's got what is the Fibonacci spiral in it.
Wow.
It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's another one. Again, perhaps sideways is easier for you to see it. It's got that beautiful Fibonacci spiral. And then this one. Gorgeous, aren't they? Just absolutely stunningly beautiful. And this one as well, if you see there, got that beautiful Fibonacci spiral on it. Where did I get to? The idea that the universe follows an intricate equation dates as far back as ancient Egypt and Mesopotamian cultures. It received more attention centuries later in ancient Greece, popularized by philosophers like Pythagoras and Plato. Different patterns formed from sacred geometry, often focal points for meditative states, such as mandalas and Sri yantras. I'm going to show you my very favorite one. Beautiful flower of life.
The flower of life, yes.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
Beautiful.
It's a very large fridge magnet that I bought from Glastonbury, Jack.
You can get anything from Glastonbury.
Absolutely. It's just
for
So I've got that beautiful one, and I've also got this one as well, which is hologramic.
That's not coming in, that's not sharp. Okay.
See any better?
Yeah.
So
well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I won't put this up straight away after the show. And I'm going away tomorrow, so it'll be Wednesday.
Are you? Where are you going?
I'm going to Manchester.
Are you?
Lovely day out.
Wonderful. I'm going to Manchester on Saturday
very
night.
Beautiful lady. Sorry?
I'm going on to Manchester on Saturday night for a trance event. I'm going to be dancing about from 7 o'clock at night till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Great. Lovely. I'm going to put the pictures on. I'm going to do what I did with the Giants show.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Thank you, Jack. We'll have a lovely time with your lady in Manchester.
I most certainly will.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear.
I'm a very lucky man. And I know
you are. So different patterns formed from sacred geometry offer focal points for meditative states. And to activate these states, you could wear sacred geometric patterns. So I've got my flower of life earrings in, which you may or may not be able to see, my beautiful silver earrings. But also I have this, which protects you from 5G, which is Metatron's cube. It's shungite and orgonite. And again, an absolutely beautiful, beautiful shape. And Archangel Metatron having his own sacred geometry, I think is really, really beautiful. Archangel Metatron is known for working with sacred geometry, and he even has a cube called Metatron's cube, and also the Merkaba that he works with. He helps special needs people, especially children, which is perhaps why I want it.
You want to say something about how the seed of life grows into the flower of life?
Yeah, absolutely. So it expands, basically. So literally meditating on any of the seed of life, which when extrapolated, I think that's the right word, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah.
Becomes the flower of life. So it's literally,
as it expands, the same way as in biology, the same way as cells.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. And I went to Egypt probably 10 years ago, and on the ceiling of the Valley of the Queens, the temples, were these beautiful flower of life. And I went, oh my gosh, flower of life. And the guide went, how do you know that's a flower of life? When everybody else goes, pretty stars. I said, because I've been doing sacred geometry for eons, and I'm an Egyptian second master teacher. But yeah, these have been known about for a very, very long time. There is a man called Drunvalo Melchizedek, who's written 2 books called The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. And he's just written in so much detail why this is so important for us now and why it was important then. And what he reckons is a beautiful spiraled DNA, if we took a slice out of it, lovely Jack, like a stick of Blackpool rock, then we would be seeing the flower of life. That's what our beautiful DNA is made out of, that beautiful, beautiful flower of life. So triangles in sacred geometry are thought to symbolize balance and harmony. A three-sided shape can also be related to the body, mind, and spirit. And with an upward facing point, it indicates that we are raising our consciousness, which we so are. When pointing downward, it has also been associated with the divine feminine and energy and reproduction, as it resembles the womb space. So whether it's pointing downwards would make it female, when it's upwards, it's enhancing our spirituality. So scrummy stuff. Circles have seemingly no beginning and no end. So they represent a never-ending loop. As such, circles in sacred geometry can be thought of as a symbol of oneness. The ideas of this never-ending shape is demonstrated and observable in pi, or the ratio or the circumference of a circle to its diameter. Pi is an irrational number that goes on forever, never repeating.
And of course, in the symbol of Ouroboros.
Yes.
The snake eating its own tail.
Eating its own tail. Yeah, indeed, darling. And again, there's so many examples of sacred geometry and symbology like that that has been hidden from us. So yeah, it's time we understood all of this lovely stuff, isn't it? Squares in sacred geometry represent a very practical and solid energy. Think about the base of a pyramid, for example. It's a square. So this shape can be thought of as a foundational and dependable and very solid shape. It's very stable, grounding and safe. So, you know, the way that, well, I still draw houses where you have that little square and then the triangle on the top. Yeah. You know, there is that solidity of form, isn't there? Yeah. You know, there's something very solid about form. Spirals from the snail shell to seashells. I'll find you some more seashells. I've got these beauties. If I put it there, that might be easier. You can see the beautiful, beautiful spiral. And this one, isn't that gorgeous? Just beautiful. Yeah. I was gifted that in Oman. I was on a beach and I'd drawn some, I collected all the rubbish off the beach, and then I drew loads of Sekhem and Reiki symbols all over the beach and lots of big hearts as well. Went off into the sea, and when I came out, that beauty was waiting for me. And I don't think it was gratitude as such from the mermaids and from the ocean, but I think it just encourages me to do what I was going to do anyway, basically. But yeah, I particularly love this one. It's just absolutely scrumptious. And this one, again, it's got that beautiful, beautiful Fibonacci spiraling.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And then I've got some smaller ones, but equally. So in seashell healing, I would use these in much the same way as crystal healers would use clear quartz points, basically. So you could have these pointing in or pointing out. And again, that wonderful Fibonacci spiral. That's better if I show it that way, isn't it? Oh, the one I really want to show you, Jack. Oh, I love this so much. Can you see what that is?
Now that is a gorgeous one.
Isn't it?
That is a beauty.
It's a chambered nautilus. So it's one of the oldest living, I guess, prehistoric beings, but they're still alive today. So it's kind of a giant snail. So its foot would come out of there, and that's how it would walk along or hop along the ocean floors, basically.
Where
But
did you
I
get
really
that?
love. Again, I was very gifted. I was
Yeah.
in Bali, and it found its way to me because, again, I don't think it is the ocean thanking me as such, but that's how I always take it, that I'm really blessed that the ocean is giving me this beautiful chambered nautilus. And again, it's that golden spiral again, isn't it? The golden ratio. So it's absolutely beautiful. I love it, love it, love it. So these are also referred to as the Fibonacci sequence or the golden ratio. It describes a sequence that starts with, for anybody who doesn't know what the Fibonacci sequence is. So you have 1, and then you add that to the next one. So it's another 1. And then you add the 1 and 1 together, and that gives you 2. You add the 1 and 2 together, and that gives you 3. You add the 2 and 3 together, and you get 5. You add the 5 and 3 together and get 8. You add the 5 and 8, get 13. And then 13 and 8 is 20 on, and so on. So that's the Fibonacci code, basically.
Fibonacci, the guy that that developed it, that discovered it, he was an Italian priest, wasn't he? Or monk?
Yeah, absolutely. And he just beautifully discovered it. And thanks to him that we're able to know about the Fibonacci ratios and sequence.
And we find them everywhere in nature.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack, don't we? Absolutely. And one of the things that he did, I can't remember exactly, but I think he said that if you've got the span of somebody's hand, then you can tell how long their arm is. Mm-hmm. And because of that, you'll be able to tell how tall they are just from that digit, basically. I'm probably making a real pig's bum of that, but
yeah, but archaeologists use that all the time. And
Andrew's got to go. Bye, Andrew.
Okay, Andrew. Cheers, mate.
So Andrew was saying lots of love to us.
Yeah, so paleontologists use that all the time.
Yeah.
Where they find a part of a skeleton.
Yeah, yeah.
They can extrapolate to the ultimate size of the original person or creature just by using that.
Yeah. It's amazing stuff, isn't it? It really is amazing stuff. I've got a friend who's a forensic scientist, and sometimes they find bodies, and again they can work out just from that measurement, even if the other bits of the body aren't available. That's a bit gruesome, I know, but they can tell what the size of the body is, you know, just from having just a tiny fraction of it.
Yeah.
These spirals relate to everything from the shape of our own DNA to energy and how energy flows through the chakra points. So the flower of life is a group of 7 overlapping circles that unify in the form of a flower. One of the most well-known examples of sacred geometry you may have seen is a flower of life in nature, in spiritual art, on a tattoo, or someone in your local yoga studio. It's considered as well to be a sign of protection, and it represents creation. Again, you know, we've talked about our beautiful spiral DNA, and that, you know, this is what is represented with our beautiful flower of life.
Yeah. How the seed of life goes into the flower of life.
Yeah.
And the circles represent the female aspect.
Yeah.
And then you add the straight lines, which represent the male aspect, and you come up with Metatron's cube.
Yeah, absolutely, which is awesome and scrummy and lovely. So yeah, I love Metatron's cube. It's really helpful. It's considered as well, the flower of life is considered to be a sign of protection, and it represents creation, how everything is interconnected in some shape or form. It is also thought to harness creative energy as well as fertility and blessings. Sometimes it's called the seed of life, from which every other shape is created. It is
Yeah.
exactly what we've been saying, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And these things have been revered, these shapes have been understood and revered for thousands and thousands
Oh,
of years.
absolutely. This isn't new stuff, is it?
As you said at the beginning.
Yeah, the Egyptians certainly knew about it, and Plato and Pythagoras. And, you know, maybe he wouldn't have come up with Pythagoras' theory if he hadn't have been so very interested in fractal and sacred geometry.
But this knowledge has been suppressed for the last couple of thousand years.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we know why, because it has such an amazing effect on us, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, doesn't it, Jack?
Pythagoras knew about it, Plato knew about it.
Yeah.
I rather think Galileo knew about it, although he wasn't allowed to say too much.
Yeah, and again, you know, it was that being, you know, that energy and those teachings where, you know, they weren't allowed to talk about it, were they?
I mean, even though
anti-Christian and all sorts of weird and
even though we talk about the Platonic solids, which is named after Plato.
Yeah, look what I got, baby.
What you got there?
I've got a whole set of Platonic solids.
Yeah.
So shall I tell you what it says? It says the tetrahedron represents fire, the cube represents earth, the octahedron is linked to the element of air, the dodecahedron is spirit, and the icosahedron is water. So yeah, they are just beauties.
Yeah, it's a lovely set.
It is. I did have a rose quartz set actually, and I loaned it to someone, and they've never found their way back to me, sadly.
These things happen, unfortunately.
They do. So the idea that the universe follows an intricate equation dates as far back as ancient Egypt and Mesopotamian cultures. It received more attention centuries later in ancient Greece, which again is due to Pythagoras and Plato in the least. Rooted in its nature is the understanding that nothing is in isolation. Everything is connected. You know, just the fact that our brain, our lungs, just everything in our beautiful bodies is all connected. So how can you use sacred geometry for your benefit? Sacred geometry suggests the idea that everything is connected, and simply watching those patterns play out in our lives can be very comforting. Sacred geometry is all about the sense of natural alignment. To more actively introduce this principle into your life, you can also work with sacred geometry, talisman, and symbols. So what I was showing you earlier, it does block EMFs. And it's Metatron's cube, it's shungite and orgonite.
You've got some lovely things there.
I have, and on the back, look what I got as well. A spiral.
Can't see it.
Oh, can you not see that? If I move it this side, can you?
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. It's like a labyrinth, isn't it, that one as well? But again, it blocks 5G and electromagnetic fields, so it's got loads of lovely purposes, basically. Different patterns formed from sacred geometry offer focal points for meditative states. You could also set up a crystal grid. So basically you put one crystal right in the middle, and then you have lots of clear quartz points pointing into it. And again, that's setting up that resonance, that entrainment, that frequency of sacred geometry. Additionally, the living spiral of a nautilus shell, which I've just showed you, or the horn of a sheep, the interlocking hexagons of a beehive. Who's seen those? They are just incredible, aren't they? They really are. And again, it's using a pattern that is using up as little energy as possible, but makes it really safe and strong and secure as well. If you're curious to see sacred geometry play out before your eyes, simply take a walk in nature. We've recommended this so often, haven't we, Jack?
Yeah.
That just seeing nature is just incredible, isn't it? So you could look at natural patterns, look into the center of a sunflower, look at a pine cone, look at the formation of leaves. You know, they're often very asymmetrical. They're just absolutely beautiful. Again, I'd recommend Masaru Emoto's book, Hidden Messages in Water. Additionally, the living spiral of a nautilus shen. No, I've already said that bit. Hexagons of a beehive, underground formation of crystals, the spin of a spider's web. Spider's web's a beautiful sacred geometry. I guess you'll have seen it as well, Jack, that when there's frost on them or water, it makes them really very, very visible, doesn't it? The migratory pattern of birds, we've all seen them doing murmuring, but also the way that geese fly. They fly in formation basically to make the most of the air currents. And although people call them silly geese, they're really not, because they take it in turns to be at the front and to encourage the others. So they take it in turns, honking that encouragement that we hear them do. And if one of them is shot or injured, one of the geese will come out of formation again. All of this is done telepathically, and it will stay with the injured bird till either it passes over or it recovers, and then it will rejoin them again. So I really love, you know, I really love the fact that geese do that. And again, that they fly in that beautiful formation as well. Their structure creates the specific dynamic strength and balance required to support the role of the individual and the collective. So again, it's like bee combs, isn't it? It's like honeycombs. That's what it's about, isn't it? And again, the beauty of sacred geometry is about us being good as an individual, but also as the whole as well. So sacred geometry.
It's the same with human beings. It's the same with the whole web of life on Earth and in the cosmos.
Yeah.
It's fractal.
Yeah.
There's all of us is within all of us.
Yeah.
Each of us is within all of us. All of us is within each of us.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we said this earlier, didn't we? We are all fractals of the divine. We really, really are, aren't we? So sacred geometry music, woohoo! Not only can sacred geometry be seen in nature, but it can be heard too. There's a reason that the blending of certain notes in music sounds so harmonious, whilst the wrong note can quickly turn a chord into a cacophony. What we hear are really sound vibrations, and those vibrations can indeed be measured mathematically and in our beautiful hearts. I've seen in the past where they've got sound. It's the golden thread that connects us all, Gillian Cooper said. Indeed.
That's right, Gillian, absolutely.
It so is. So I've seen in the past where people have got sand and then they played music to it, and it will form, you know, a beautiful sacred geometry pattern, basically. I've seen sand patterns as well, and patterns where you have a magnet and iron filings. Again, it will make beautiful, beautiful sacred geometry patterns.
Yeah, it's wonderful the way you can do that without magnets, just by sound.
Yeah.
There's a whole science. I can't think what
Incredible.
the name of it is, but there's a whole science around that.
Yeah, there is.
What's
I've
the name
forgotten
of
what
it?
it
Can you
is
think?
as well.
Anybody else?
We
Julian,
need Andrew for this.
Andrew would know, wouldn't he? Yeah, I can't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it will come to me while I'm thinking about something else.
Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Go on.
Music, because I listen to usually healing music all throughout the night, usually 432 hertz or depending.
Yeah, me too, darling.
But they changed the frequency of music, and I can't remember when it was. It was quite maybe like in the 60s or something.
Yeah.
So the frequency was not the same. I can't really explain it. I should have done more thinking about this before I.
It was 382, wasn't it, or 384, and they changed it to 400, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly.
432 hertz. I think they did change it to 400 so that we couldn't get the healing benefits from it.
Yeah,
but we know now, don't we?
Yeah, if you've got a specific thing that's bothering you, like for healing or whatever, and you just research it, and it'll change the different frequency to 527 or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's a bit of a Pandora's box, really, because of what's going on. You don't know if it's some trickery, and you might be listening to something that isn't doing the right thing for you all night. So I tend to stick to the 432 hertz because I know it is the magic frequency.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also what I go to sleep to as well. Again, it just resonates with my heart. It really does. And if I do wake up, because it's still playing, it gets me back to sleep really quickly.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know music is very important to you, Liberty, isn't it? Is there any particular?
Just just because everything is obviously energy and frequency, and music for me, I just really love tuning into the frequency of music and just being aware of how it moves through my body. So yeah. And it's interesting what you said, Gillian, about it being a Pandora's box with all the kind of different frequencies and that are available to us, and the potential that they have. And I think that we can overthink it a little bit, and it's kind of, for me, music is, if it feels light, it's right. So if it feels my body, it's right. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. If it feels light, it's right. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Because we get that frequency, we get that vibration, don't we? And it just feels right, doesn't it?
Yeah. Music, I mean, I get goosebumps with music. It's kind of, yeah, it's really powerful, yeah.
So
tingle up your spine.
Hey?
Tingle of Kundalini energy up your spine.
Yeah, absolutely. I did show you some belly dancing moves, didn't I, a few weeks back?
Yeah, you did.
Stimulate our Kundalini energy. But also,
that was fun, folks. If you haven't seen it, then check out. Look back.
It was Joyous Sex 1, or it might have been Joyous Sex 2. I can't remember now exactly. But yeah, it was lots of fun, wasn't it? Showing you how to shimmy and do beautiful infinity symbols with your beautiful body and stimulate your Kundalini energy. I think it's another reason.
Really fun shows since Annie's been doing it with me. It's really, really fun shows. Because before, when it was Paul and me doing it, it was just two blokes, just male energy, and we didn't have the male-female interaction that we have now.
Yeah,
which is it brings a whole different perspective to it.
Oh, it massively does, darling. And I'm really glad that Stand in the Park brought us together, because I bought your book long before I actually met physically, you know, Jack Cox. And I just remember you come to that Stand in the Park meeting and just going, I'm sure that's Jack Cox. And then I think I came over to you and went, are you Jack Cox? And you went, yeah. Who's asking?
I checked it out because you told me that day that we were connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, we're not. And I checked it out. And we were connected on a previous Facebook profile that was closed down because I've been shooting my big mouth off about it.
Well, I've been in Facebook jail so many times now that yeah, I don't care. We're true speakers and light workers, and we're not meant to be quiet. And I often think that we're planting seeds of inspiration and just giving people the desire to go and research it sometimes, aren't we? So
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful that we met up, Jack.
Oh, I am. Yeah, absolutely.
And that we get on so well.
We're good mates.
We are good mates to each other, aren't we? For sure, definitely. Yeah. And we make each other laugh, which is always...
It's good to have mates.
It is good to have mates. The yin-yang, masculine, feminine energy. I've an ensuite in the Facebook jail. That's from Gillian.
Yeah, Gillian's been there a few times too, haven't you, love?
I've never heard the that terminology though, having an ensuite in the Facebook jail. But yeah, if we weren't over the target and if we weren't telling the truth, they wouldn't need to shut us up, would they, really?
No, no. Anyway, we interrupted you, I'm sorry.
Anyway,
we interrupted your flow.
No, not at all. No, I think that's why this works, Jax, that we're just two mates having a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
With all these other lovely souls as well. So anything that we go off with the fairies with, or, you know, go in a different direction, I think we're meant to say it.
I mean, what am I like here, surrounded by three lovely ladies? What am I
know.
Like?
What a lucky man you are. So, yes, sound baths. That's why sacred geometry is so good for sound healing and sound baths, demonstrating how musical vibrations can affect our physiology. That's what we've been talking about. 432 hertz, 528 hertz.
And so much ties in with what we did last week on
absolutely. That's why I think it jumped into my brain on Friday night. I thought, no, I'm just going to say it now. I'm just going to say that because we talk so much about sound healing and vibration and, you know, keeping our vibration high as well with like laughter medicine and stuff. I think it's all interlinked, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So we all experience the effect that musical vibrations can have on our physiology. We all experience this on some level. So when we listen to fast tempos, I know that as soon as I hear bouncy music, I either want to dance or I want to get on my rebounder and have a jump up and down, because it's just very exciting stuff, isn't it? But also we feel immediately calmer while we're listening to slow, you know, gentler sounds. Again, we're talking about 432 hertz. So, you know, that can make a massive difference just listening to that. So crystal grids I've already talked about, but then I didn't actually do anything. So you could meditate in front of your crystal grid. You could meditate in front of your beautiful flower of life or your Metatron's cube. And one of the things I did prior to the scamdemic was I used to have an eBay shop, and I would sell flower of life and Metatron's cube, and I was writing in Theban script. I didn't know why I was doing it, but I just wrote what the name of the map was in Theban script. But because I've had time to kind of reflect on why I felt drawn to that, I didn't know that I was supposed to be turning people on to sacred geometry who might not ordinarily do it. So the mat would have the, you know, the sacred geometric pattern on, but on the back, I thought it was worth me just saying what I discovered from meditating with Metatron's cube, but also with the flower of life. So you could place your image on the Tantien download point, CV6. So let me show you on me. Just move my chair backwards again. So if you find your navel, so that's your navel, and then 2 finger widths down is the Tantien download point. So you could put crystals on there, but what I was recommending was you put the flower of life on there, and it would download that into you, or Metatron's cube. So that's one of the things that we could do with it. So once you've printed off either Metatron's cube or the flower of life, you could stand on the image with both feet bare, because again, we're picking up on that beautiful vibration. You could place it on the frontal eminences. So these are the frontal eminences there. So you could put it on there, and it really helps to take it into our third eye, because the frontal eminences are there. So if we're doing that, then it's going into our third eye, which has got to have a really fantastic positive feedback. Place it on your heart. Our heart knows stuff, and our heart vibrates with sacred geometry as well. You could sit on your mat as well. You could sit on your beautiful thing. I'm not going to do it on that because it's actually got a pin and a magnet on it. So I'm not thinking that's going to be too smart, Jack, my lovely. You could place a glass of water on it. So not this, because obviously it's got writing on, but you could put a glass of water on your flower of life and leave it there for, I don't know, a couple of hours. And then you've set your intention that you're infusing that sacred geometric pattern into your water, and then you're drinking it. So again, it's a healing structure.
I just want to add, I'm sure you all know, but people who tune in on YouTube later might not. If you want to do any of this kind of work, it has to be done with intention.
Yeah.
It's no good just
Absolutely.
slapping it on and expecting it to work. You've got to intend it to work.
Yeah. So you're literally just saying to the water, you know, if this was just a plain glass of water, just saying to the water, this is my intention, that I'm imbuing this water with the flower of life or Metatron's cube.
I mean, ultimately, of course, you don't need any of the props. You can just do it with your mind.
Yeah.
But having the props helps to focus the mind.
Yeah, absolutely, sweetie. And particularly when you're going into a meditative state, just the fact that that was the last image that you saw has got to have a profound effect on you, hasn't it, really? If you wish to make an essence from your water, simply use half of your high vibrational water, which obviously wouldn't have lemons in it, would just have your flower of life energy in it, or Metatron's cube, and then you'd use half of your high vibrational water, and then you just need a jar or a bottle, something that's going to contain your beautiful vibrational energy. And then I usually add vodka. I don't use brandy, which I know lots of essence makers do. I use vodka because it's much more subtle. So in the past, I've made things like bluebell essence or freesia essence, and I don't want the vibration of and the fragrance of the plant to be overwhelmed by the brandy. So that's why I use vodka.
Vodka's a lot more neutral.
Yeah, absolutely, darling, it is. And it's gluten-free if you're going to drink it, so you know. Just like to give you these little snippets in front of you. And then what I did want to do, as we've already referred to, put you there, We've already referred to lots of lovely spirals. This is another one that I hadn't shown you. So it's more pyramidal.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's easier sideways, possibly. But one of the things that I love to do and love to make essences out of is crop circles.
Yes.
So in the past, I've walked either labyrinths or crop circles. They're quite often in Wiltshire, aren't they, for some reason? But all of these are sacred geometry, all of them, without doubt, a beautiful sacred geometry.
We'll have to do a show on crop circles one week, Annie.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do a whole show on it one week.
Ooh, Jack. Ooh, I'm liking the
That would
idea
be
of
fun.
it. Woohoo! Yeah, let's do it. So
Yeah.
I've walked the crop circle or the labyrinth with my bowl of water. And again, as you so rightly said, we just need to set our intention that is what we're doing, that we want this message, this vibrational geometric pattern in our water. And then I've made an essence from it. And sadly, I've only ever found this one book on crop circles. I was hoping that they'd do a second. It's by Steve and Karen Alexander. It's called Crop Circles, Signs, Wonders and Mysteries. But it's got some stunning, beautiful ones in it, if you can see.
Oh yeah, that's lovely. Yeah.
But all of
when
them.
we go onto YouTube later in the week, once I got all the pictures, the links to all these books will be in the description.
Yeah, brilliant, darling.
As I do every week.
And then this one, I thought, Jack, we need to see this one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
How beautiful is it?
That
And
is
it does
beautiful.
say in this book how big they are as well. You know, it does say, you know, how big they are, so how gigantic they are. But yes, so I could only find, I've only ever been able to find this one book called Crop Circles, Signs, Wonders and Mysteries by Steve and Karen Alexander.
And of course, they're all made by drunken yokels with treadboards, aren't they?
What a load of bollocks that was, excuse my French. But you know what? I've actually walked a crop circle and it's like it's scorched, and it's the wheat or the corn that is actually, it's like it's been kind of burnt. There's no way that, and it should have beveled. Is beveled the right word? Yes. So
and they're all slightly radioactive. People, they're all slightly radioactive as well.
Yeah,
People have taken Geiger counters in.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be scrummy and lovely. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, we've talked about Juliet and Jiva Carter's. I don't think the crop circles could ever have been created by humans. No, Gillian, you're right. They couldn't. We just don't have the, you'd have to be up really high to see what you were doing for a start off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And they are, there is not one imperfection. It's literally like somebody's got something very hot and they've done that impression. So,
Liberty, do you have any particular knowledge or take on crop circles?
No, none at all. I don't know a few people that do like to visit crop circles and kind of express the energy and the frequency that's present in those areas. So I do find it fascinating and interesting, but I know very little. I'm just kind of an energy frequency kind of person and everything. And like I say,
I'd love to take you into one sometime and see what energies you pick up.
Yes, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to experience that. Yeah, it's just really interesting,
isn't it? Yeah. I did find a website when I was doing the research for this, and although there isn't a second crop circle book, there is a website where you can look at what the latest crop circles are. Again, a lot of them in Wiltshire. I don't know what's extraordinary about Wiltshire, but there is a lot of lovely crop circles in Wiltshire. So yeah.
Well, maybe it's something to do with Stonehenge.
Possibly.
Yeah.
And all that area.
And
Yeah.
Avebury, that's
Yeah.
still Wiltshire, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
There's
And the
something
long
obviously
barrows
very
and-
magical about, there is something very magical about Wiltshire for sure, isn't there? When
Absolutely, yeah.
in that book, there's some in Germany, there's a couple in Germany, there was a couple in the Netherlands, there was a couple in Canada, but the majority are in Wiltshire in England. So
Yeah.
there's obviously some very powerful attractant to that area, isn't there? And again, like you say, maybe it is Stonehenge and Avebury. Could be, couldn't it?
There was a reason, I think, that, I mean, we're getting off topic now, but I think there was a reason
Darling,
that
that's
people,
so unlike us.
there was a reason that those ancient people settled in that area,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
because they could sense the energies of the place.
Yeah, and all the ley lines that congregate there. You know, there's so many ley lines, aren't there, around
Yeah.
that area? And there's the burrows. Beautiful, beautiful landscape. So, because we talked briefly about Juliet and Jiva Carter's Sacred Geometry course, so this is another one I would definitely recommend. And it's called The Template Holonomic Model of Transcendence by Juliet and Jiva Carter. And it's got everything that you could ever want to know about sacred geometry, but also about how healing it is. But I wondered, no, I'm just going to say I would like to read this, please, Jack. So it's called The Original Human Blueprint is a Fractal of the Hyper Holographic Universe. And it is beautiful language, as we know. Your blood contains the same divine essence and molecular alchemy as the rivers that run to the sea. Your bones are made of the same elemental components as the ancient stone monoliths that have silently witnessed the passing of eons. We are continually exchanging a data flow of source intelligence with the body of Earth and every form of life within her embrace, as circuits of electromagnetic exchange bind us together as one living ocean of psycho-sensory interconnected space-time coordinates within the universal order. Never was there a time when any form of life within this ocean did not exist. As all of life transits within this field of existence to recreate itself in whatever form is available within the matrix, taking into the next incarnation the data that it has gathered, repeating the cycle until it learns to break the cycle of the generation by breaking the codes of creation. When a critical mass of gathered source intelligence is transmitted from a consciously awakened group of individuals within this field and fed into the biospheric membrane of the morphogenetic grid, the present paradigm explodes with light, no longer able to hold back the tides of the unborn, eternal, everlasting continuum. As we expand and mutate into light translating units of biocircuitry within this whole mechanism, we open portals into the symbiosis of the soul covenant that allows for the growth and evaluation of our solar system, our galaxy, our multiverse, our universe, to seep into our everyday domesticity, to transform the mundane into the transcendent, bursting the seams of superficiality that masquerade as culture, to allow the radiant emissaries of light to delineate a new model of existence beyond the present pain of being human, beyond fear. All this evolutionary potential is already in our keeping, within our soul covenant and within our beautiful bodies.
That is beautiful. That is so moving.
Isn't it? I love her language. I love the way she describes what we know at a
And I think it's wonderful
cellular
that,
level.
I think it's wonderful that you and Gillian have both worked with her.
Yeah. The beautiful synchronicity, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is just such a beautiful
I
synchronicity.
know. I sent Jack because you know of what happened, you know, with the COVID, whatever you want to call it thing. They couldn't get to Glastonbury, so they put them out to try to get the word out to everyone, and they're all on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I sent, I think, code 1 to Jack, then he can progress and go through all of them. But just listening to Juliet's voice, it's just like, I've got goosebumps now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just incredible. And I used to Skype with her quite regularly because I wasn't very well. And she was in Bali and I was in the UK. And we would get a time and we would do a Skype and we would do mirror work.
Oh, wonderful.
Time with her and Jiva. And as I've sent a photo to you, Jack, that I've got this huge flower of life that I actually got from Glastonbury.
Yeah, beautiful.
I've had it for maybe 7, 8, 9 years, and I've also got a bracelet that has got all of the all of the tetrahedrons, all of that. I've never taken it off. 7 years I've been wearing it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Makes such a difference, darling, doesn't it?
Well,
makes such a
I hope
difference.
so. Something's keeping me going and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
I wanted to read that because her language is the most exquisitely beautiful language, isn't it? And she always says that it's channeled, that she didn't, you know, that she doesn't know when she's channeling it, she just writes it down really quickly, or that Jiva records her. Yeah, and then she'll go, what does that mean?
He then makes the sacred geometry to match.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know one time when I went to Glastonbury and it was their training, and I went, what's that one over there? What's that one over there? What's that one over there? And she went, that's Venus. I was like, oh my God, that's my home planet. Well, one of my home planets. And then another time, she was talking and somebody said to her, so which one is the icosahedron? And she went, I don't know. I channel information, so it's not something that she'd, I don't know, consciously done. So she was saying, I don't know what I'm saying till I hear that recording or I've written it down or whatever. And that's why she couldn't remember what the shapes were and what they did, but Jiva could because he'd recorded her. So it's just fascinating stuff. If you get a chance, Jack, honestly, I'd really encourage you to do the template ceremonies. The first one, I think I just cried so much doing the ceremony of original innocence.
That's the one I sent to you just today, Jack.
Yes,
is it?
I saw it. Yeah,
oh, yeah. Jack, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Well, it's one of the things to do. To add to my huge list of things I've got to do.
Yeah, I have similar lists, darling.
I need a JCB bucket to keep them all in.
Jack, I'd like to put some links on YouTube about the sacred geometry that we've just spoke about.
I will do, yeah. I will do. Yeah.
Sounds fascinating, yeah. And that reading that you've just done, Annie, was just beautiful. It were expert.
Oh my gosh, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
It's just, I was getting goosebumps on my goosebumps. Just reading it. It's just the most, oh, the light's just gone suddenly brighter. Wonderful. Yeah, it just is the most exquisite language. That isn't the only thing that's in there. But when I was looking through the book, that one kept shouting at me. I just thought, I'm going to read that at the end because we all need to hear that. And, you know, not just us beautiful souls that are taking part in this radio show, but people do watch it afterwards on YouTube, don't they? And I just want
anyone who's watching this on YouTube, I urge you, and I'm serious about this, run the video back 10 minutes and listen to that again, because it's really to listen to twice or 3 times.
Oh, massively, darling, really massively. It's just beautiful, isn't it? I think you should have read it really, Jack, with your beautiful voice rather than the Brummy accent.
No, you did a very good job without me.
Oh, thank you.
It sounded much better in a Birmingham accent.
You reckon?
But don't you think Juliet's voice sounds not quite human?
Yes, definitely
It's
off-worldly.
ethereal, you know. Yeah. You'll understand this, Jack, when you listen to it. It's just it's got this
Her voice is just
it's entrancing, it's magical, it doesn't sound human.
no.
Yeah.
It is just extra. Jack's gonna love it.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Marchment used to do a great impression of her and go, "Your body is a holonomic model of transcendence."
Exactly
Make
it.
sound really naughty.
Well, Gillian sent me lots of links this evening, haven't you? So I've got to go through all those later on.
I know.
Oh,
I'm just
Jack, you'll love it.
stuff. I'll be doing
I'm
this.
looking forward very much to checking those out. Thank you for sending them to me.
Well, I don't want to keep you up all night, but it's synchronicity of
As
talking.
long as I'm only kept up all night watching YouTube videos, I'll be all right.
But just prior to this, I just sent Jack the first ceremony, the one of innocence, wasn't it? Was the
ceremony of
was
original
one,
innocence? Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, and then you just go through it and through it and through it. But yeah, the synchronicity of that is amazing. And then I sent him the book, The World Bridger, as well.
Oh, World Bridger will blow your socks off.
I know, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
And I've got goosebumps. And you know what goosebumps means?
But
It's the truth.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
When I was reading that, I was getting goosebumps on my goosebumps on my goosebumps. That was just such beautiful resonance and vibration, isn't it? Of the language that she uses is just exquisite, isn't it? So healing.
I know, it's like she's not human. I don't know if you were there at the same time as I was when there was some heckler in the audience. I mean, it's a very small place, as you know. It's absolutely packed. And some guy started off about something. And she's a tiny little thing, but she's just got this.
She's really petite little goddess, isn't she?
Yeah. And she's got this awesome presence. I've got goosebumps now even talking about her.
I know.
And this guy's hecking in the audience, and she just ripped the guy to bits within seconds, shut him down.
Yeah.
And then we would do at the end, we weren't allowed to take photographs, if you remember, but at the end we could. And so Jiva had all these sacred geometry like in the room, and there was all these orbs, like thousands of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
How amazing that we were probably there at the same time and we're doing this again now.
I know. Synchronicity.
Very good to be reunited with you.
We're connected, aren't we? Yeah,
absolutely, darling. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, because it just kept popping into my brain that because we'd done sound healing and because we'd done laughter medicine only the week before, that sacred and fractal geometry was just such a, I don't know, there's such a link, to what we've been talking about. So I was just concerned that I was not going to just jump on and take over your radio show, but as you beautifully reassured me that isn't what I do. I just give you inspiration. So I'm very grateful to you.
And I'm very grateful to you for your input. I really am. You've changed the whole vibe of this show.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Aho. Aho.
Aho. Right, my darling. So if you want to chat to me after the show, and we'll figure out when you can come and take photos.
Yeah, well, tell you what, why don't I get in touch with you when I get back from Manchester?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're fixed selling up for Wednesday or Thursday, if that's okay.
So when do you come back? This Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah, I'm only going for one day. I'm only going for the day.
Oh, I thought you were going for a few days. If only.
Well, let's not go
Yeah,
there.
I know I've got some free time on Thursday afternoon, but I'm fully booked on Wednesday from
We're fixed something up for Thursday afternoon.
Pardon?
We're fixed something up for Thursday afternoon.
Okay, darling.
I just need half an hour to take some photos, that's all. Just to come in with me.
And while I've got you in my power, Mr. Cox, I could give you Hopi ear candles again because you loved it.
Ah, well, that would be wonderful. That would really be
And blast you
appreciated.
with, actually, I shouldn't say blast you with second. That sounds like it's a ray gun or something. I mean, I'll give you beautiful Egyptian second, is what I really mean. Yeah, let's do that, Jack. That'd be good.
I must just say, I mean, it sounds like a plug, and maybe it is, but it's from the heart. Annie is a very, very talented therapist.
Thank you.
And I will put a link to her clinic in the description. And I highly recommend anybody to contact her. The very first show that she and I did, we went through all the different modalities that she practices. And it took a full hour and a half actually to go through all the modalities that she teaches and practices. So she's very, very well rounded. I mean that.
I am beautifully well rounded. I'm a very voluptuous goddess.
You ever said something and then just realised what you said?
Laughter medicine again, Jack Cox. I am beautifully well rounded.
Yeah, that wasn't what you are, but that wasn't what I meant. So yeah, on a more serious note, do get in touch with Annie if you need any therapies at all. If you've got anything wrong with you, she'll sort you out.
I will indeed.
Well, that could be in handy job. No, I'm going to hospital on Monday, so yeah. I mean, even though I'm a radio master myself, I'm not very well. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going for a CT scan on Friday, so I may need to touch base with you to see if there's anything else we can do. I mean, I'm surrounded by EMF blockers, crystals, and all the rest of it, but there's something going on, and I don't know. I think I've got an attachment, to be honest.
Could be, couldn't it?
Because I've spent a lot of time in the Amazon doing ayahuasca and all the rest of it and what have you. So yeah, something.
Maybe it is that. We could do some kinesiology. So it's literally, you probably know what kinesiology is maybe, but it's hacking your body's own computer. So literally just gentle muscle testing, asking your body what it needs for you to reach optimum health, surpass your goals and show up consistently as the best version of you.
I mean, I do
sort of thing you could do remotely, Annie, or would Gillian have to travel?
Yeah, she doesn't have to come to me. I could do it by WhatsApp video, and then I've got everything in my treatment room, and we can do it by that if she prefer.
Well, I couldn't at the moment. I do a lot of dowsing as well over most things. You know, should I have this, should I have that? You know, all the rest of it. So I do a lot of crystal dowsing as well. Yeah. But there's something. I need a little leg up with something.
Yeah. Oh. But yes, certainly I'd love to help you with that. I'm very good at helping people to transform, what should we call them, invasive energies. So yeah, I'd be delighted to help you. I really would.
And anybody else who wants to work with Annie, I will put her links in the description.
Oh, thanks, sweetie pie. You are an angel.
Right, have we finished?
Yes, see.
Well, thank you ever so much, Annie, for giving us another load of wonderful information. Thank you very much, Liberty and Gillian, for coming on.
Yeah.
It's been lovely having you both here.
Oh, pleasure.
Yeah, really mean that. And also to Andrew. I know he's gone now, but
Yeah.
we've got to add him in because I'm sure he'll be watching on the replay to
Oh,
catch up with the
definitely.
part of the show that he missed.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not doing a Friday show this week because, well, for various different reasons, but partly to give me time to catch up with getting this one put up onto YouTube.
Okay, darling. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be a lot of work. But as I said earlier at the start of the show, anybody who wants to send me or Annie any questions, we'll do a separate show to answer your questions. I'd be glad to do that. Send them in landscape format, not portrait format, if possible, please. And we'll get you on the show that way.
Yay.
Thank you all very, very much for coming.
Thank you to everybody. Thank
See you
you
all
to
again
Jack.
next Monday.
Meet you all.
See you next Monday.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.